Environmental Science with Min. Today we'll be discussing global warming and its impact to our health. So over the years, as you can see, there's a global trend na tumataas ang ating temperature ever since we hit in the 1960s. This is the rise of plastic and other industrial. Actually, the industrial age started around the early 1900s, but we started to use plastic commercially and the fast pace of mass production in this area. So as you can see, every year tumataas exponentially ang increase ng climate natin. So, what are the potential impact of climate change on human health? So, climate change affects temperature, sea level, and precipitation. So, nagkakaroon ng increase ng heat, flooding, vector biology, as in, dumadami mga mosquito, nagkakakulangan sa food supply, air pollutants, which causes death, infectious disease, respiratory diseases, malnutrition, and other health complications. So what is the effect of global warming in terms of health? So increase in malnutrition and consequently disorders with implication for child growth and development. So pag nag-increase sa malnutrition, mag-increase rin ang mga developmental delays sa mga batang affected with malnutrition. Increase in death, disease, and injury due to heat waves, floods, storms, fires, and droughts. So, pag nag-increase remember yung water cycle natin, pag nag-increase yung precipitation natin since nag-increase ang heat, more water will be precipitate. Pag mas maraming water na lang nakuha, mas lalakas yung mga storm, which in return pa-cycle siya, which can cause drought and extreme climate changes. Pag nag-increase ng drought, masisira yung mga pananim. Or pag nag-increase ang temperature natin, especially mga dry areas, so nagkakaroon ng mga forest fires. Or pag lumakas ang pag yung temperature natin, the more water that we precipitate, the most likely mas maraming water ang nakukuha to the skies above. So, anong nangyayari doon ay nagkakaroon ng matitinding ulan at baha. So, nag-increase rin yung mga diarrheal diseases. Bakit? So, may mga that's something to do with the bacteria since pag mas mainit yung climate, most likely inclined ang propagation or pagdami ng bacteria pag mas mainit ang lugar. So there's an increase of cardiorespiratory disease due to higher concentration of ground level ozone related to climate change and the altered spatial distribution of some infectious disease vectors. So what is the greenhouse effect? To a certain degree, the Earth acts like a greenhouse. Earth from the sun penetrates to the glass house, and warms the air and object within the greenhouse. The same glass slows the heat from escaping. This results in a higher temperature within the greenhouse than outside. So carbon dioxide is the primary concern sa greenhouse effect. So human activities have boosted, naparami nila ang atmospheric concentration from 280 parts per million to 383 parts per million. In fact, this is one of the highest level for more than 650 years. So, ito pa yung other gases na mataas sa ozone, sa atmosphere natin. Ito yung world carbon dioxide emission by country. As you can see, habang tumatagal, tumataas ang consumption natin, production natin ng carbon dioxide, and the leading place is in Europe, in European areas, followed by Brazil, Africa, China, and other industrial countries. So, bakit nga ba tumataas ang level ng carbon dioxide? So, dahil sa pagsusunog ng fossil fuel sa mga bahay, sa factory, and other mobile, sa mga sasakyan natin, nagtatransfer tayo ng large amount of carbon dioxide sa lithospheric reservoir into the atmosphere. The main reason carbon dioxide concentration have increased so dramatically dahil rin sa deforestation. So kung onti lang ang puno, mas onti lang ang mga nako-convert natin ng carbon dioxide to oxygen. So forests serve as a sink or siya yung parang filter natin. Their ability to remove carbon dioxide is really important to maintain homeostasis sa ating environment. So, ito yung explanation ng global warming. May pumapasok na solar energy directly sa greenhouse gas. So, natural greenhouse gas is the outgoing radiation passes through a greenhouse gas except that the infrared radiation is either absorbed by the greenhouse gas or natatrap sa atin. So, dahil sa carbon dioxide and humans nagpo-produce ng carbon dioxide. Tapos kinukuha ng mga puno at kino-convert niya to into oxygen which ginagamit ng humans. Pero dahil sa increase of greenhouse effect, dahil sa mga pinagagawa nating humans, maraming heat ang natatrap sa loob ng ating Earth, thus increasing the climate. So ano ba benefit naman no pag uminit ng mundo natin? So, maraming death ang mapre-prevent dahil sa cardiovascular disease and influenza. At onti rin ang paglaganap ng mga mosquito. But that is just a minor thing. Kung nasa temperate area ka lang. Pero what if kung nasa tropical area ka, like the Philippines? So, there are immediate and direct risks of global warming. So, the health impacts of heat waves, extreme weather events, and the altered air control. So, makikita nyo dyan sa pictures na yan. Nag-push siya. Alright. So, human body has a capacity to cope with increased thermal stress exceeded. The risk of homostatic failure disease is nag-i-increase dahil sa sobrang init. Older people na mayroong cardiovascular disease or may problema sa paghinga at yung mga mahirap are most likely ang mamamatay dahil sa mga heat stroke, cardiovascular disease, or dahil sa global warming. Okay. So, great absolute burden of adverse health. In fact, the heat waves will be in the general community, but the workers in various heat-exposed workplace, both outer and indoor, are particularly vulnerable. Okay. So, another indirect risk is the changes and disruption of ecological and biophysical system affecting food yield, yung mga pagkain natin, the production of spores and pollen, bacterial growth, and the range of disease vectors such as mosquito and water flow quality. So, yun ang mga indirect effects ng global warming. So, the rising temperature reduces the solubility of gas such as oxygen and water. concentration at saturation falls 10% with at 3 degrees. This 3 Celsius increase. So, mababawasan mga isda natin sa karagatan kasi mamamatay. Remember from the previous study that 1 or 2 Celsius increase lang sa ating ocean waters, pwedeng ikamatay ng mga coral reefs natin. So, not only that, it also affect na na-acidify yung katubigan with the increase of carbon dioxide. Thus, namamatay rin ng mga isda and coral reef, which nagkakaroon ng disruption sa food cycle. Not only that, yung mga pananim natin ay sensitive rin sa climate change. So, naapektuhan siya. Yun lang yung sinasabi dito, guys. Okay. So, human health and agriculture. A good part of the world and its country rely. Nakikinabang tayo sa agriculture para sa pera at sa pagkain natin. For many countries, this change could mean death. In fact, it's projected number of starving people worldwide is expected na tumaas from 430 million people in addition to the 600 million people already projected to be starving in 2060. So, ito yung mga naging epekto. So, sa first scenario, makikita expect ng increasing global warming, maraming crops ang masisira dahil sobrang malulunod ng kanilang pananim or magtutuyot dahil sa sobrang init. Thus, mawawala ng mga pagkain ang mga tao. Climate change in climatic condition will affect many climate-sensitive infectious disease via. So, in the influence of pathogen maturation and multiplication on vector organism density and behavior such as mosquito. So, in ecology and density of reservoir, host species and aspect of human behavior that amplify the risk of infection. So, nag-i-increase. Dahil sa climate change, nag-i-increase yung number of production ng mga bacteria such as salmonella, typhoid, mirum, and other diseases. So the change in distribution and life cycle of vector organisms will also occur as with those of their transmitted pathogens. So the changes in distribution and life cycle of vector organisms will also occur as with those of their transmitted pathogens. A change in malaria. So ito yung mga example ng mga sakit, malaria, schistosomiasis, makikita yan sa snail, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's leishmaniasis. Okay. Are to be expected as well as in dengue fever and other infections. So later on, we will discuss yung mga vectors na nag-aano sa water disease and other diseases and sa mga food. So geographic distribution and timing of such changes are difficult to predict. So a short-term increase in temperature and rainfall, kagaya ng El Nino noong 1997 and 1998, nag-cause ng outbreak ng malaria sa Kenya. Pero umunti naman ang malaria sa Tanzania. So malaria zone have apparently extended to higher altitude so depende pa rin siya sa location. So ito yung mga infectious disease, kagaya ng mga cholera and dengue fever. So ang cholera is a parasitic disease which can cause death from dehydration dahil sa diarrhea. While yung dengue fever is transmitted by a mosquito and causes fever, joint, and muscle pain and headaches. So ito yung mga malaria kung saan naapektuhan. Philippines is also one of the places kung saan maraming malaria, especially dahil mainit yung temperature natin. So malaria can affect 45% of world population today. But dahil sa global warming, pwede siyang tumaas by 60% of the world population. So ito yun, kung saan kumakalat, nakikita niyo yung Philippines. So ito yung dengue vector, Aedes aegypti. The principal vector is a female Aedes aegypti mosquito, infected mosquitoes in remaining ineffective for life. So the effect of temperature rises on dengue transmission. There's a small viral incubation period in mosquitoes, shortened breeding cycle of mosquito. So yun ang effect niya. Napapaiksi niya yung time niya kung para dumami ang mosquito dahil sa init. Nag-increase din ang frequency of mosquito feeding and more efficient transmission of dengue virus from mosquito to humans. Ayon sa World Health Organization, every decade tumataas ang kaso ng dengue. Ever since the rise of plastic and other industrial products. So ito, another example graph. Ito, comparison ng dengue occurrences. Talaga mataas talaga sa Pilipinas yung dengue occurrence. Ever since 90s. Ito yung projected increase nila. So, schistosomiasis, a tropical disease caused by infestation with schistosomes, widespread in rural areas of Africa, Asia, and Latin America through use of contaminated waters and characterized by infection and gradual destruction of tissues, kidney, liver, and other organs. So, ito yung niya, kung saan siya kumakalat. Sample lang siya, but that's not really important. So, another transmission from China. So, the surface runoff and a solid material transportation, for instance, of organic materials is a result from heavy rainfall, which likely to rise in frequency in temperate countries as climate change, as tumataas ang temperature natin dahil sa climate change. So, increasing water contamination, both particulate and microbial, including from the sewage, the gains in temperature and changes in the rainfall and humidity may extend and intensify exposure to allergenic pollen and spores from plants and such as ragweed. So, deferred and diffuse risk. Those associated with rural to urban displacement and the mental health consequences of drought in failing rural communities. Sa Australia naman, the following severe weather event, one as many in 5 people will suffer debilitating effects due to extreme stress, emotional injury, and despair, that which can linger for months and years. So basically, itong slide na to, it talks about the effect of global warming in terms of mental health. So, because of global warming, di ba, nakita niyo kung ano nangyari sa ating latest na bagyo kay Eustace. So, maraming nawalan ng tirahan, maraming nawalan ng mga pamilya. So, nakaka-trauma rin yon. Not only that, it also affected their livelihoods, which brings more stress. And yung mga houses nila nasira. So, talagang apektado ang lahat ng tao, both physically and mentally and emotionally with this climate change. So, risk associated with conflicts and environmental refugee, disease, starvation, drought, and loss of habitat, loss of natural resources, and economic impact are powerful drivers. These events, the chance of civil war breaking out double during such warmer spells. So health sector should play a central role. So, kailangan mag-communicate the health risks of global heating. So, makipag-collaborate sa mga other NGOs, other partners, promote and lead, evaluate, and range of adaptive strategies, protecting the health and safety of the most vulnerable sector of the population, which is yung mga mahihirap talaga. Imagine ninyo, sino ang unang naapektuhan pag bumaha? Siyempre yung mga mahihirap. They cannot afford high-rise condos, yung mga nasa penthouse. Weak rin yung mga foundation nila. So, if ever the business owners or the big industries nagiging sakim sila sa pera at disregarding the role of our nature, hindi sila ang unang maapektuhan, yung mga maliliit na tao. So, achieving sustainability, citizen or society or global governance. Individual citizen consumer action can solve 5% of the problem. Large-scale environmental changes needed in a large-scale policy change. So, yan. So, ano ba ginagawa ng ating gobyerno para masolusyonan ang ating climate change? Especially here in the Philippines. At Dolomite is not one of the answers. All right. Needs a cultural transformation and global climate, environmental change arises from systemic market failures. So, climate change and health, main types of adaptive strategies, appropriate workforce training and mid-career development, public education and awareness. So, alert systems sa mga heat waves and other extreme weathers, community-based neighborhood support, yung mga watch teams, climate-proof design, as in, mas patitibayin yung mga bahay, mas magiging cost efficient, mas environmentally friendly, and mas matibay. Disaster preparedness and enhanced infectious disease program. Halimbawa, yung mga bakuna, yung mga anti-vaxxers dyan, please, vaccine is very important. And vector control, halimbawa yung sa mga dengue. So ano dapat gawin para mabawasan ang incident ng dengue sa ating bansa? So syempre, check natin yung mga water supply kung saan pwedeng magparami ang mga mosquito. So, in other words, mga treatment, yung mga diniscuss ko last week. So anyways, I'll end the session right now. So if you have any questions, please tell me. You can email me or you can message me. So anyways, thank you and see you next week.